So go ahead and tell me about your dog.
Yes, so Kygo is 5. This is not our primary thing today, but while we're here, this is part of the issue. As you can hear, he's been
Anxiety.
shrieking the entire time. But yeah, it's just, I mean, the main issue is just that he just has these random beefs with dogs for no reason. And I would like to be able to have like people watch him without worrying and be able to walk without him deciding to start instigating issues for no reason.
In the dogs that he's reacted to, have you noticed anything about their energy? Are they excited dogs? Are they puppy type dogs? Are they big fluffy dogs? Like anything that you can kind of go like, hey, this is like a constant.
The only thing I can see is that they're orange, like the corgi, the orange dog. This first started with French bulldogs. Is the first one he did not like. When we were in Miami, he was off leash, and there was a French bulldog like also probably like over there when we were playing with the ball. He's gotten more territorial over the ball over time, but he also like ran after that dog. He didn't like attack it or anything, but he like aggressively ran after it. That the French bulldog is where this started. Now it's the past 5 months has been these orange dogs.
So this is a recent development.
In like the past 2 years, I would say, but it's like getting worse. Like it started with the French bulldogs. Now it's like seems like we're adding to our list. Like sometimes I understand it. If there's like a Great Dane, sometimes a Great Dane's not even looking at us, he's in front of us. He'll give him like a bark, which I'm assuming is more just like a go away kind of thing. But that's not how he is with these orange dogs. Like he will like lock into them and aggressively, he's on leash, so he can't do anything. But I think he would if he was not.
If he was off leash and the leash wasn't on at all, right? Does that change his behavior at all? Is he more relaxed? Does he seem more easy on the approaches? Or do you not, outside of daycare, do you not socialize him at all?
He hasn't gone to daycare in a little bit, but he, like we're in busy parks every day because I live in the West Loop, so our park is very busy. So we're always walking by dogs. I don't really let him approach them anymore though, or if it's like for 3 seconds, a different trainers, like they can say hi for 3 seconds and then keep it moving. But yeah.
And you've had him since how old?
Since he was puppies, 3 months. He was adopted from.
So even at 3 months, you started to see kind of these little.
No, this dog thing started like probably 2 years ago.
How old is he now?
5.
He's 5. Okay, I got you.
I noticed this like maybe less than 2 years. Last winter, that was with the French bulldog, and we started not liking French bulldogs. And I just feel like his list of dogs he doesn't like is like growing.
Was he ever attacked by a dog or like corrected by a dog at a park or something?
I mean, not like recently that I can think of. He definitely, I've noticed like if I have the ball, I thought it was like he was being territorial over me or the ball, because that's when I noticed he used to be fine just like going in the dog park, playing around, and then over time it was if like a dog came up to us when we had the ball, he would like bark them away, but he didn't escalate.
Pursue.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else I should know? He did training before.
He's done a lot of training. I put in a lot of time with him, and he's done a lot of he's been socialized since he's a puppy. So I don't know what his deal is.
You mentioned sit in the console.
Yeah.
Did they do remote collar?
Yeah.
And then what happened with the remote collar?
Nothing. I just feel like when he was like there, he was like a perfect angel, like he's in the military. And I just maybe I just wasn't doing it right, or I wasn't understanding it, but it did not translate very well to
the real world.
The real world, yeah.
Did you talk to the trainers about that?
Yeah.
Did they help you with that?
They tried, I think, to some extent, yeah.
It doesn't surprise me. Sit's a franchise. I believe this one's under new ownership, the one on Elston.
This is a few years ago too, but yeah.
Yeah. Was it a girl or guys?
Guys.
Yeah. So they're the new owners, if I remember correctly. Because there used to be a female, a woman that owned it originally. Because I've been here for 15 years. So I'm pretty familiar with like the trainers that are no longer here versus the trainers that are newer, and then the ones that have like changed ownership or whatever. But it's a franchise. I've trained a lot of sit dogs.
I will say, so like he generally, in terms of his general obedience, is very good. So I feel like that did help with that. Like especially in the house, his recall outside is really good. There's only 2 times he has not listened to me for recall. One was with the French bulldog, and then one was like just a different time, unrelated to a dog. But other than that, like his general obedience is very good. But the dog thing is my main concern. The loose leash walking is still an issue even after I don't know how many hours.
Do you ever employ your heel?
I try very hard, and he's okay with it if he doesn't know we're going to a destination he's excited about. But it's like, and I can tell he's trying, but it's like he's trying. I don't know how to even explain. It's like he's trying so hard, but he still is not like in the position. He is for part of it, but I have to I feel like I have to correct him a lot, and I don't want to do that.
Is this with the e-collar or no e-collar?
With both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the highest you got on your e-collar?
I think a 4.
When you did your...
He does respond to that though.
The follow-up sessions or whatever, did they tell you how to correct heel?
This was like probably 4 years ago at this point, so it's been a while.
Been a while?
Yeah.
Okay. Because all of that matters. Trying to see how to phrase this. So, from my perspective, even though this was 4 years ago, whatever, right? Is if your dog is trained to do something, like you should be able to do those things with your dog. And like you just said, I've invested a lot of time and money into the training, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
Now, yes, the issue is behavior, but I'm assuming when you went for the training, well, if that was 4 years, that was before this started.
Yeah, he didn't have these issues.
Have you done any training for this specifically?
So we were in Miami for the winter, so we did do some with that.
Okay. What was that?
He would the trainer, because I was scared to do it, he would go with me and have him greet dogs very briefly.
Okay.
And then we were off leash a little bit with him under the trainer's supervision, but he basically just told me to have him greet them very briefly.
Okay, so was it just like socialization training, or it wasn't anything like, here, this is the foundation, and then from here we're gonna go to here?
I'm not sure what that would be exactly, but
so for me, for example, let's say you're I would like to be able to socialize my dog. I go, okay, that's a goal we want to achieve, right? But we have to start here first. We have to get our foundation down. And once we have our foundation down, then we start to move into socialization. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna just throw you into a group of dogs, or I'm gonna, we're gonna introduce dogs one by one or what have you. You have to have foundation first, and then from there we go into what you're wanting to achieve. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess I'm just not sure what the foundation in this specific situation would be, but I will say there's many dogs he's perfectly fine with. He plays with dogs. Yeah. He has a lot of dogs he actually really likes. It's just these random ones.
Okay.
So it's not like he's completely can't be socialized at all, but
yeah. No, I gotcha.
And they also say at daycare he's a perfect angel too.
Yeah, makes sense.
Does
it happens a lot? Yeah.
Okay, they're he's never had, because I've asked them several times.
It's because I do think the issue is territorial behavior when you're starting. So if you remove you from the picture, the dog's gonna be fine. Okay, you give him something to protect. That makes sense. So when you walk into the world, right now, you see all these people here. What do you think of these people?
Nothing.
Nothing. They're just people here enjoying the park, right? But for a dog, they come to a space like this, and let's say your dog had human issues, the client that just left before you, their dog has human issues, human and dog. Is when they go outside with their dog, the dog goes potential threat, potential threat, potential threat, potential threat, potential threat. Does that make sense? So they're not seeing the world like we are. So for you, with for certain types of dogs, right? Potential threat. And now I was trying to figure out, well, why is it these dogs? Which was why I was asking, have you noticed any constants? Let's say, for example, you're well, he's fine with old dogs, but if he sees an excited dog, he becomes reactive. Then they go, okay, he doesn't like the excited energy. But for the human, it doesn't make sense, because they're going, but Jesse, that dog's friendly. I go, right, but he doesn't see it that way. He goes, I don't like your energy, and I don't want that energy to come closer to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So once you start to see the world like a dog does, what the way they're behaving starts to click, and you're okay, my dog's not, because dogs will regulate each other. Humans don't regulate each other for the most part, right? Something could be happening over there, there could be a big old fight or whatever, and if we're over here, well, that's none of our business, right? We don't go out of our way to address that fight. We would call 911 or something like that. Dogs don't do that. And you may have seen online, if you watch YouTube videos, or even on Instagram or whatever, where you'll see a group of dogs chasing after one dog, because they're going in to correct that dog, going we disagree with what you're doing. So they regulate each other. The issue with that is if dogs are constantly regulating each other, and they think that they themselves can do it, is dogs will kill another dog. The concept of murder isn't in the dog world like it is in the human world. But that usually surprises people. I go, yeah, I walked into homes where one dog killed another dog. And then prior to that, it was well, my dog was correcting this other dog, and we let it happen over and over and over again. I'm yeah, and then what happened is the dog was all right, I've already told you 100 times, so this is the last time I'm going to tell you. And they just killed the other dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I also think the part of the issue here is this anxiety.
Yes, this whining drives me. This is our third. Like I would say, like the dog thing, the heel walking, and then this whine. Like the way here, I already walked out of the car just extremely annoyed because he was doing this the entire time.
Sure.
He doesn't always do that. I don't know what it was about this car ride specifically, but.
And I'm trying to see what perked his attention, because the only thing that I saw was that guy running. These would be the first dogs. And this, have you ever tried to correct this, the whining at all?
Corrected in what sense?
Like with your prong collar?
I mean, yes, but he just continues to do it, yeah.
Okay. All right. So going back to like that trainer you said in Miami?
Yeah. With
the socialization stuff and the things you just noted, the anxiety, the heel, and we'll just call it random reactivity for now, all ties down to the heel. Okay. Heel is the foundation for everything. When we're talking about e-collar, which I also refer to as pressure, heel helps the dog learn how it turns on and how it turns off. Okay. And from there, we can use that to then start to address problem behaviors. For example, your whining. So once he understands how the collar turns on and how it turns off, e-collar does two things. It can reinforce obedience, right? Do something like sit, stay, whatever. But it can also deter behaviors. In this case, the behavior would be the whining. Okay. So if I corrected him on the e-collar and I had the appropriate setting, he would go from this kind of anxious state, ideally, to a calm and passive state. Okay. So it doesn't make sense to people to think that you can correct anxiety, but dogs don't, again, they don't perceive things like we do.
Enough.
So like if you were experiencing anxiety or a friend was experiencing anxiety, you could be like, hey, it's okay. Like you can kind of like talk them through it, so to speak, right? You can't do that with the dog. You can't talk them through it. What another dog would do is if they disagreed with this, they would come over and bite him and go, there's nothing to be anxious about.
That trainer's dog did that. He stayed with them for a day and he was like, she was not having it
exactly,
at all.
Right? And I've seen that with my dog, my pit Lexi. She's 15 and she's retired now. But when she was in her heyday and she was like 5 years old or whatever, I had a dog kind of like yours, very anxious, and was pacing in my living room because it was dropped off for in-home board and train. And she walked over, and as the dog came here, did that, and the dog yelped. And then she turned around and laid at my feet, my dog did, and that dog just kind of stood there, and eventually just like laid down and fell asleep. Because my dog was like, yeah, you're not going to do that here. You know, dogs don't like instability. They don't like unstable energy, which is why even at a dog park, if one dog becomes too rambunctious, dogs will come in to correct it because it becomes unstable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the foundation for everything is heel.
Yeah.
If you can't make your dog heel, you're not going to get your dog to stop the whining. You're not going to be able to stop the reactivity. They're related and not related because obedience and behavior are two different things, right? Obedience, I explain as kind of as education, math, English, science, sit, stay, come, right? Skills. And behavior would be like morality. Don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat, don't jump, don't bark, don't bite, don't whine.
Yeah.
Right? So like a very smart person could be a terrible person, and a not very smart person could be a very good person. Like they're not related. But the difference here is with the obedience, because it's taught through pressure, it's taught through consequence, right? It gives me a foundation to then start to transfer that conversation to the things that I want to target. In this case, the locking in, the honing in. Like I can see a little bit here, and there's a dog just all the way over there, right? That's the only thing that I can see that would get Kygo.
Kygo, yeah. And those are one of his like dogs he's fine with. I will say though, and I think what the trainer told me, I forgot to mention this, is he said that because he started his behaviors that I've started to get more tense, which is very true. So he said he was probably sensing that like when other dogs come by us. So I did work on that.
Yeah, but all this like the inability to relax and stuff is also going to be related to reactivity because he's already at a level of stress. So if you add something on top of that he doesn't like, you're going to see something there, which is why the baseline we want all dogs to be is always calm, neutral, because then it takes more for you to see the 10 behavior or whatever, the reactivity or what have you. Okay.
Yeah.
Questions on any of that stuff?
No.
So going back to the Frenchie, right? This was 2 years ago. And the other thing that's odd about your case, it's not common at all, is the timeline. Most dogs the client will go at 6 months, at a year, at 2 years is when I started to see this behavior. or there's going to be a catalyst. So like I had a golden doodle that I trained, completely social, completely friendly. Okay. Going to pull him in, and what you're going to do, just pull in front of you,
Come here,
and then just pull up. There you go.
good job.
And then every time he moves, you're just going to pull up on your prong collar. So her dog, her doodle, Taco, was attacked by an off-leash dog. And like a switch, the next day became dog aggressive, dog reactive. Right? And he was like 3 to 4 years old. So it happened outside of the 6 months, a year, and 2 years. But there was a catalyst. She's like, ever since he got attacked by that off-leash dog, up on your leash, up, and then relax. And then no praise, no treats, no nothing. Ever since that day, he's been dog aggressive, dog reactive, right? Whereas for other clients, they'll go, oh, you know, I noticed the behavior start to happen around 6 months or at around a year. And I go, right, because that's when dogs, they start to have personality shifts. So kind of like with humans, right? Like we have our teenager phase and then we, 18 and all that stuff. I'm not the same person that I was a year ago. You know, we're constantly kind of evolving and changing.
Yeah.
Kind of same thing for dogs, but for dogs, 6 months, a year, and 2 years. So people can typically tie things back to something then. And sometimes the behavior wouldn't have gotten worse until later, up on your leash. But they were like, oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, I did notice these kind of little quirks when it was a puppy, but it wasn't that big of a problem up on your leash until now. Okay, which is why I was asking if he had ever been corrected or if he had ever been attacked by a dog before.
I mean, he's had like some scuffles, but nothing that I can like link. Like this is the time that this happened.
Yeah.
One time he was at, and this wasn't a fight, but one time he was at my house with my uncle's French bulldog. They didn't have any issues, but I don't know if it started after that because he didn't like him, but he just kind of they kind of just ignored each other. That's the only even thing because it happened at some point after that, but yeah, I can't really tie anything like super specific. I really don't understand what his deal is.
Then and if we can't figure it out, it's not a big deal. It doesn't impact the answer. It just would help kind of give a peace of mind where it's like, okay, I see where this may have started or whatever. Okay, now I have my answer, but at the end of the day, it's not going to impact how the training's going to be or anything like that. Okay. Yeah. So goals, obviously walking on a leash reactivity, and then the anxiety.
I mean, the leash reactivity is like, it's like more I want to be able to let him be off leash and interact with all dogs. He's not overly reactive on the leash. It's more just like he was locked in and kept like looking at the dog. And so I did like go like this and he just kept like turning his head back, but he wasn't like trying to on leash lunge at him or anything. Okay. But he's also kind of far away, so.
Okay. I would, as a simpler term, I just refer to it as like leash reactivity or whatever. Because a lot of dogs too, like I have one that's starting tomorrow, super leash reactive, but off the leash completely friendly. And they're like, Jesse, it's like literally complete opposite. It's like on the leash, the dog's like, looks like she's trying to kill the other dog. And then off the leash, goes up and wants to play, not a problem. Part of that for me is there's two major stress responses, fight or flight. And then you have avoidance submission, but the first two are always fight or flight. So if a dog's on leash, if they feel threatened, flight is removed, which is why they're more likely to engage in the fight response. And then if they're off the leash, up on your leash, then flight is available to them, and now they don't feel as pressured, and they don't feel like they have to resort to the fight response. Okay, but the locking in stuff that we can address. Okay, when's the last time you've socialized them off the leash?
I mean, he has a friend that he plays with.
Okay.
She's like I don't know. She's not a cattle. She's like a sheepdog or something. No, what is Australian Shepherd is what she is.
Sure,
so they're good friends. He has some other dogs he plays with, but I haven't just like let him roam and talk to other dogs off leash in a while.
Okay, how long is that while? Year?
Since probably April.
Okay. 5 months? That's
yeah.
Not too bad. Okay. And the last time you went to daycare?
December.
December? Okay. Was he going to the same daycare?
Yeah.
All the time?
Yeah, they had set days.
Since a puppy, or was this a later thing?
Yeah.
Since a puppy?
Yeah.
Okay. That's also probably a possible reason why no issues there too, because he's been going there since a puppy.
Yeah.
So he's very comfortable. He's very confident, like he's familiar with the place type of way.
Yeah, and they have you have set days, so it's similar dogs.
Gotcha.
Most days as well.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm assuming you're looking for in person.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I would probably put you at around 6 classes, 6 one-on-one classes. The first two would be heel. Heel is a 2-part exercise. So you show up class 1. If I'm still here, we train here. If we don't train here, it's not a big deal. The clients just like it because they get to experience like the busyness of the park. But at this point in the season, it starts to get slower here. And that sets the foundation for everything else. Okay. The next thing that I would do is I would review recall. So even in the case that actually when the whole Frenchie thing happened, I can't remember if I asked earlier, did he have his e-collar on?
I think so.
Think so? And
yeah.
do you know if you remember if you tried to use it?
I think I like panicked and was like just like pressing something, but I think I was hitting the vibrate more, and then I like couldn't turn it up in time to get like his reaction. But he did not respond to what it's normally on that he responds to.
Okay, which was the 4.
It may have been even a 3. I'm not. This was like 2 years ago, so I'm not totally sure. But I do remember I just didn't have time to like turn it up because he like went after him very quickly, and he did not listen to me. And then the only other time he has not recalled, when he almost got hit by a car, of course, my parents were like walking away somewhere, and we were just like in the park, and he like went after them and he wouldn't come back.
I see. Did he have his collar on at that point?
That day he didn't, but ever since then if we're off leash, I have it on him. Yeah, because he almost got hit by a car.
Gotcha. So I would review the recall again. Now there is a difference between everyday recall, we're at the park, he's playing whatever, right? Going to bring him in, up on your leash. And like emergency situations, okay? So like I've had it happen where clients are at the park, it could be October, and like a kid finds a random firework and they blow it up and like it spooks the dogs. Like, it's the most common thing that's happened to clients in the years that I've been training here. But they're able to override the situation by maxing out the collar and doing continuous, because in that sense, it's like fear flight response. The dog's running away from danger. They don't understand that it's a firework, and it's against instinct to run into danger, right? So obedience kind of goes out the window in those kind of contexts. So there they have to override the dog's fear of running from the big, loud, scary bang and actually make them more scared of running away from them in order to return them. So we recondition the recall, and then we talk about those kind of emergency case scenarios in case they ever happen. I hope they don't happen, but they can happen. Because yes, your collar should be able to override the situation, pending you have the correct collar for your dog, because there are different outputs. I would say the sit mean sit collar is meant for like a 35-pound dog and under. It's what I would call a low output collar.
I'm not using that one anymore. I got a different one. I forgot what it's called. It's from Amazon, but it has like a ding, just a sound, a vibrate, and the other one.
Was it like $80 or so? $40?
I could look. I'm not sure. It's black.
Okay. So I use the Dogtra brand. Right there. I have a client that's starting today. And that's the collar that I would recommend for you. Okay, that's the Dogtra Black Edition. This is meant for a 70-pound dog and over. It's perfectly safe to use on your dog. I could put it on my 8-pound Chihuahua. It's perfectly safe to use. All it means is we get more from less. Anytime that I'm dealing like with reactivity or aggression stuff, I tell the client, you want to make sure you have a higher output collar in case you're in that situation. You need something that's going to cut through the aggression. Okay, I have had dogs override even singular collars. So more commonly, like if it's a 130-pound, 150-pound dog, right? They're so aggressive that they need a second collar paired to the system, so that there's 2 collars going off because they're so intense and they're so large, right? Makes sense because they're big dogs. That's like 5, I think now 6 cases in 15 years. Super rare. But if we don't have the correct output for the dog, even with really good training, when these kind of emergency situations happen, you run the risk of not being able to regain control, and that's what I don't want to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. And Tina will fill you in on all that stuff. So 2 would be on heel, 1 would be on recall, and then the 3 would be on the behavior stuff. Okay. Now, if we can't force the behavior or replicate the situation where we would see the behavior, we're kind of stuck. That's just me being honest with you, right? So it's easier, like this we could correct because he's clearly anxious, right? Now, I think that this may go away with just the first 2 classes, okay, up on your leash. But if it doesn't, I would show you how to correct it to then get him into a neutral state, okay? But for the random targeting or the locking in, now if you tell me like for the Frenchies, for example, depending on if you get started and when you start, like I have a Frenchie right now that's training with me. So I'd bring him out and try to force the problem. he's a 4-week board and train. He's with me for human aggression issues. But if we can't replicate or create the behavior that you're struggling with, it's difficult to work on. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, do you yourself think there's a way we could create that tension?
I mean, the park by our house has this orange dog. There's 2 of them, and then there's also some corgis. So that, do you guys, like, at your daycare, would we be able to go there, perhaps?
Yes. So for example, if I have a client that I'm going to meet with later today, because her key thing has been socializing her dog. Mm-hmm. So the past 3 lessons have been showing her how to introduce her dog to other dogs correctly, and then we brought her into a group with other dogs because she was very nervous. Her dog is leash reactive. And then last class, she had a friend who met us at my facility, and then we did the up on your leash. I think it's this fly. Bring in. Yeah, bring in and then pull up. A little on the jumpy side too. So that's what I've been doing for her, But she's been pretty much kind of calling the shots because her dog, also human reactive and dog reactive, and then after the first 2 classes, hasn't been doing anything. Mm-hmm. Like the dog's been really good, and that's because it was just a dog that was being mishandled, right? So because we got appropriate training in, good training in, dog was able to relax. So now the owner's like, oh wow, like now I'm able to socialize the dog because I have the confidence now. So it's me kind of just helping her build her confidence. But yes, we could meet at my facility. But it just comes down to, do I have the dogs that he has issues with? Like, do I have a Frenchie? Do I have a Shiba? Do I have a Corgi? Which Corgis we don't have. I have a Shiba and I have a Frenchie. The Frenchie I only have for 2 more weeks.
Okay. I would say Shiba is like public enemy #1 at the moment. Okay. Yeah, probably followed by Corgi and then the French Bulldogs.
Okay.
I mean, there's other dogs he doesn't like, but those are I don't think he would off leash go after, like, 'cause he doesn't love the white fluffy dogs either, like the Huskies.
Okay.
But he doesn't lock in as much on them.
I have a Husky who's annoying and also unneutered. So that comes to our daycare.
Okay.
So the more I know about like his potential triggers, the more I'm able to kind of think of like, who do I have that maybe we'll see something up in your leash. But there's also the possibility that we don't.
Okay.
Okay, just as a heads up, unfortunately. It's easier to work with the dogs that are very apparent, like, hey, this is a problem, than dogs like this where it's like, well, it's specific. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, what I've done also for clients is if I can't create the problem, I have, I record the sessions and I'll go like, here's an example of me working with a dog that's being reactive and how we correct it and how we shut it down and stuff like that. So at least you have some kind of a visual foundation to see what the process is like. I've done that in the past for clients, okay? But unfortunately, if it's not like super obvious, they could be a little bit tricky to work on.
Okay.
Okay? And that's just me being honest.
Yeah. And is any of it like, would any of those lessons be like off leash somewhere like this?
You call the shots.
Okay. Because he loses it, like, I don't have the stick with me right now, and that's not so much general him being aggressive towards dogs, but he also like loses his mind if I'm holding the stick. That's when the heel is the worst by far, so it'd probably be good for me to bring it.
So we'd have to work on that.
Yeah.
Right? So, what is your complete list of things that, like the stick is a new one now?
No. The stick is like the launcher.
Stick. Yeah.
Yeah, if he sees like anything that involves he knows we're going to be like playing something if we're leaving the house, then he like will, that's when his heel is the worst for sure. Okay. And I want to say like too, it's not like he's like yanking me over there. He's in the general facility, like vicinity. What happened? He's in my general vicinity, but I can just tell he's trying so hard, but it's hard for him to stay here.
Yeah.
So he's not like over there, but yeah, if he knows we're going to the park, if I have the stick, if I have my bag that has the stick, that's when he is very like crazy.
I see. Okay. So what I mean by new is like it's new in the sense of the things you've presented to me.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, no, you're fine.
Yeah.
So, what is your complete like laundry list of things that you think he needs to work on? We have heel, we have the whining, we have the tension, the locking in.
Yeah.
We have the stick, right? What else?
Those would be probably the main ones.
The main ones?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I look away when I'm thinking.
Oh no, I was just saying. I was just trying to see. I wasn't sure if my car. This is a paid. I realized.
No.
Oh,
all
okay,
this is free because it's Sunday.
Oh, okay, cool.
And paid is until you hit Lincoln.
Oh, okay. But that was, I would say, like my top 3 are the ones I mentioned to you. Like,
okay.
For sure.
Do you have any travel that's coming up at any point?
Yes, actually. Okay. September 30th, I'm actually getting a surgery, so I need him to go somewhere.
Okay.
So it's not travel, but I won't be able to walk him for 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
I see. Okay. All right. I'll present a couple of options here. Okay. And the reason why I was asking about if you're going to go anywhere is what I would have recommended was with the in-person is that like you did 9, because I don't know how the stick, it sounds like he's got good drive. If he's like really pressing for the stick, and we need to harness that, okay? And that could be a class, it could be 2 classes. I can't predict that because it comes down to his drive. So if you did 9, it just gives us the extra classes in case we need it. But like, let's say it was like, okay, we did 7 classes, everything is great. You can convert the last 2 classes to credit and then apply them to like a boarding stay or whatever if you wanted. So you don't lose the value of the classes. He technically, you could do a board and train if you're going to be out for 2 weeks anyways. I get more done in 2 weeks than you would in a shorter amount of time. But the trade-off is you're not going to get the hands-on experience.
Right.
You know, there's also the high likelihood that we just don't even see any behavior at my facility. Because at my facility it's structured, and plus if it's a board and train, training starts immediately, and his first impression is discipline and structure. So then that's also why the dog's less likely to misbehave, right? Because he's going into an environment, he's like, oh man, right away, it was consequence, it was accountability, it was you're going to do this, right? If you don't do it, I'm going to remote you. So then it changes how they behave. So then we don't even see the behavior.
Yeah.
So it's a trade-off. With the in-persons, you learn more, but it takes longer because I have to train you to train him. Whereas with the board and train, it's quicker, but then we have to transfer the training to you, but then there's also the possibility that we're not going to see anything.
Yeah.
You know, so the dog that's coming tomorrow for a 2-week board and train they're going to fly to Europe in like a month and a half. No, in 2 months. So we need to do the board and train to get as much training as possible done as quickly as possible. Yep, up on your leash. And then they have a month and a half of working with me with a couple of follow-ups to get them ready for the flight to Europe, you know. Your case, you could do one if you wanted to because it's just dog stuff. It's pretty straightforward. It's nothing that I've not ever seen before. If it's human aggression, that's where I tell clients like you probably want to do it yourself because humans are everywhere. Like dogs are easier to avoid than humans, you know. But even I will take the occasional human aggression case because the owner is going to be gone for like, you know, an extended period of time, what have you. But that would be another possibility too. If it's like, well, I'm going to have a surgery and I'm going to be out for 2 weeks anyways. You could do a 2-week board and train. Our board and trains are a bit different than others because you get a training video for each week that we have the dog. The first week video is anywhere between 2 to 3 hours long, where I explain everything and I reteach everything from the ground up. Okay. The second week video is shorter, usually between 45 minutes to an hour, and I start to advance the training towards the off-leash stuff. And I give the exercises, and I cover the exercises, which my clients then practice until they feel that their dog is off-leash reliable. Okay. And I can also try to press the things that you're seeing, like with the Frenchie that I have, or with the Shiba that comes and all that stuff, or the Husky. And I would film it, like hoping that we catch something. So then if we see it, I can correct it and go like, this is an example. It could be a 10-minute video and it's a 5-second interaction of correcting the dog. Like it's so simple once you understand it. Yeah. So, but again, I can't guarantee that part, unfortunately, because if I don't see anything, that there's nothing to.
But he stays at the facility or at your house?
Correct. Facility.
Okay.
I have a facility.
Okay.
18,000 square feet.
Okay, so is he crated most of the day, or?
It's a 4 by 6 foot kennel. And dog, we do hourly rotations. So 1 hour they're in the kennel, 1 hour they do place, 1 hour they do treadmill, 1 hour they do play if they're social, and that doesn't include the training stuff. So he'd be getting training with me and training with my staff. So it's a pretty busy day. At around 6 o'clock or so, things start to slow down. Dogs are put away, dinners are fed, let them out to go potty, and then we wrap up at 10 o'clock and then lights are off.
Okay. So. Do you ever see dogs that get like, because he's never, I mean, he hasn't like stayed somewhere like that ever get just like weird after being sent away for a week?
I mean, he could be stressed because he's away from you.
Yeah.
You know, probably this is what I would see to a higher degree, but then I would just correct it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
But yeah, just saying that's a possibility. If you started and did one class and then you took 2 weeks off with the surgery and stuff, it's not going to impact the training. It's just going to be a big gap.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm only here weather permitting, and the biggest reason I'm here is because there's a porta potty. So if I'm here for 8 hours, I at least have somewhere to use the bathroom really quick and then come back and continue my lessons.
Yeah.
But once it gets too cold or the porta potty leaves, then I go, okay, I gotta train at my facility. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Would it be possible to do like a week board and train and then the rest lessons, for example?
You could. So the board and trains do come with follow-ups, right? The 1 week board and train comes with 1 follow-up, whereas the 2 week board and train comes with 3 1 hours, or 3 single hours, or what have you. Because all the work is in the video that I send you, right? But the video is going to be mainly obedience that first week. So we need a foundation first, and then the second week is when I actually start to press behavioral stuff. Okay. So yes, you could do a week, but nothing would have really started behaviorally. That makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
And what if you've done the obedience and he gets it pretty quickly? Can you just move on, or?
I keep it like a formula. Just because it's stressful, 1, because he's away from you. 2, it's stressful because of the training. I don't train like other trainers train, right? So I train the dogs that other trainers say this dog can't be trained, right? But they're going to be stressed. And because of the stress, if I start to push them too early, too soon, it's going to be too much, and the dog doesn't really learn much. Both behaviorally, the training is obedience, it's skill stuff, right? But if they're too overwhelmed, they're too stressed. It's like with humans. You ever get so stressed out and you're trying to figure out something and you just get frustrated? It's like that.
Yeah.
But with dogs. Okay.
But it's not like you're not using like excessive force. They're not stressed because of that, right?
No. But like, so I'll give you an example. The Frenchie that I have right now.
Yeah.
The owner can't have a life. She can't have people over. Dog bit her aunt. Dog is very human aggressive, very territorial. Okay, he's a 30, 35 pound dog. On his first day, we did some training. He did great with the obedience, but I have to bring him in, pull up on your leash, but I have to press the aggression. Okay. I started at 35 because obedience-wise, he was doing well at 35. And I go up in increments of 5. So I had a falconry glove, and it's on my Instagram. My wife put up like a little snippet of it, up on your leash. And I go to touch him. So he becomes very aggressive. Yep. It took up to 105 before he finally started to question whether or not he wanted to continue to attack me. Okay. A lot of trainers won't do that. A lot of trainers won't go higher on the collar. They try to keep things as low as possible. But that's why the training fails. If the dog knows you're not willing to go where you need them to go, or they need you to go to either make them do something or make them stop doing something, they're not going to listen. So the situation with the taking off after the Frenchie, right? That's why I was like, we have to revisit recall, because he has to understand the call the way that I teach it. I'm not coming in at 100. We're starting low. We go appropriate to the dog. Yeah. But if we find ourselves in a situation where I have to go to 110, that's where our collar goes. Our collar is maxed out at 127. If I have to go there, I'm going to go there. So the dog goes, okay, this thing goes all the way up here. And not only that, my owner is willing to go all the way up here. So I'm not going to do that. Does that make sense? Yeah. But if you go, well, I don't want to go to 110. I'm only going to go as high as 50. Then the dog goes, okay, Jesse will go to 110, but you'll only go to 50. So then you're not going to get that same responsiveness. Does that make sense? So for the owner, I told her, hey, I went to 105. I'm very transparent. And if you're not willing to go there when you take this dog home, expect your dog to continue to attack your guests. Yeah. Okay. So it's not that I'm using overly excessive force. Everything's calculated. Everything makes logical sense. Yeah. The difference is, if Kygo needed me to go there, I would go there. Does that make sense? Yeah. Questions on that? I know. And that's like with the in-persons too. I've had some pretty extreme cases, and we always start here. And then usually the first 4 to 5 classes are working our way up gradually. And then finally, in my very extreme cases, I'll tell the owner, all right, this is a bad case. We're going to have to just do 127 for every little thing, right? But at that point, they're like, oh, well, we've already tried everything else and it's not working. So we're here now. I'm going to trust Jesse's judgment. And then I'll go rinse and repeat for 2 weeks. and I'll go contact me if things aren't getting better. And then if I see them, I'm like, how's it going? Oh yeah, ever since we hit 127, everything got way better. I go, great. But they feel validated because they know we tried everything else. And I can come in and go like, I already know the dog needs it. I've done this for so long, I already know. They don't know that, right? So if I just jump to max power from the get-go, they're gonna doubt in their mind because they're like, well, how do I know nothing else below that would have worked? Okay, so everything I do is very logical. When you watch it, you're like, okay, this makes sense and all that stuff. But the difference is like, in boarded trains, when dogs do end up with higher numbers, there's usually a little bit of a disconnect because now the owner gets the dog back. They're like, I gotta go to 80 to make my dog listen. I'm like, well, you saw in the video, nothing else was working, you know, but because they didn't do it themselves, like it takes them a little bit before they get comfortable. And then they're like, okay, now I get it. And they're at the 80 or whatever. So that's the biggest thing that I see with clients is they just struggle with the number. Okay. And that's, again, if we end up in that kind of situation. I don't know where we're going to be.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be like that,
but I always paint worst case scenario for people because if it's like, okay, well, Jesse said this is the worst case and I'm willing to do it, then I can help you.
Yeah.
But if it's the answer is I'm not willing to do that, then I go, then I can't help you because if we end up there, because I can't predict how it's going to play out, then we end up stuck. Okay. So, but yeah, you could do either or. I was just thinking like, okay, well, if you did 9 and you know we end up getting everything done in like 7 classes, whatever, you could just turn it into credit and then use it for like a future boarding stay or something. I've done that in the past for clients. Otherwise, if you wanted to go like, well, I am going to have surgery, he's going to be gone for 2 weeks anyways, and I can't do anything, then you could technically do a board and train. So it's just up to you.
And then there's 3 follow-ups.
3 follow-ups that come with that, yes. And you can always purchase more, right? Okay. But the obedience stuff should be covered because of the videos that I send you. You know, you're going to get at least anywhere between 2.5 to 3.5-ish hours of content. It's your dog. It's not somebody else's dog that I send as like a, you know, to everybody. It's Kygo being trained real time. And then I break it up so you go, this is the heel exercise, this is how you find your dog's working number, the place command, all that stuff. And I train everything from the ground up, okay, as if the dog had 0 training, just so you see the complete process for the understanding. And then week 2 we start to advance. And then on top of that, you know, I'll push the behavioral stuff into week 2 and then film it just in case I catch anything, and I'll go, hey, here's what we saw or we didn't see. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I guess like what happens if like, you know, your week 1, your first 2 lessons with him, I suspect he will probably just get with the program very quickly, but he's already doing everything. Are you going to like keep advancing him even if it's not necessarily like your like basically what I'm trying to say is like, okay, he's sitting, he's healing well. Are you like during those weeks, will you keep advancing him through that if he's already getting with it quickly, like faster than the timeline?
I see what you're saying, like when I jump to week 2,
because I just like when I know like in your facility, I just already know like from doing other training with him, he's gonna act like a perfect angel very quickly, and he'll get with it because he's done some kind of training, and so I just don't want him. Yes, can you move forward if he has the first things you do and advance it even whatever, just keep advancing it while you have him basically appropriately.
Yes, but it wouldn't be filmed.
Okay.
Like it would just so everybody trains differently. Everybody uses e-collar differently, which is part of why he has to be, in my opinion, reconditioned. Most trainers think of e-collar as a punisher, whereas I think of it as like a communicator. Like, so if I say down and Kygo doesn't down, right? If I press the button, what should he do?
Go down.
Yes. You would be surprised how many dogs come to me already previously e-collar trained that don't do that. Where the owner presses, or they go, Jesse, I sent my dog to place, and when they get off a place, when I press the button, they run away. And I go, well, that tells me the dog wasn't conditioned correctly. So that's why I have to reteach everything. Well, if I do a board and train, I reteach everything. If we're doing one-on-one stuff, I only cover certain things, like the heel and the recall, okay? Because it's, I'm teaching you to train the dog, whereas at my facility, I get more in a shorter amount of time because I'm training the dog, and I train dogs for a living. So that's why in 1 week's time, I cover sit, stay down, come play heel. Okay, I cover all of that. Whereas for a client, if they did an in-person program and they did 6 classes, we're covering heel, we're covering recall, and we cover place. And depending on how well they do with the training, we may cover more, right? But because I have to teach them to teach their dog, so it's a slower process. Whereas with the boarding trains, within 3 days, I've covered everything. And now we're just practicing and pushing things. And then at a week after that, then I start to advance things to the next level, start building towards off-leash. Okay. So I get more done in a board and train you're going to get less in person, but that doesn't really matter because your goal obviously is the behavior stuff.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So.
But just to make sure I understood that, so if you've done your like thing, he's doing it well, like you've done it a bunch of times, you can move on faster.
Yes.
Like you don't have to wait until like the second week to start that necessarily.
Obedience-wise?
Yeah, like he's doing everything obedience-wise, like he's staying, he's doing all of that. His stay is actually his best obedience thing.
Yes, obedience-wise, I push. Behavior-wise, it's always a week of foundation, and then we push the behavior. So the behavior stuff wouldn't start until week 2. That's just standard.
Okay.
Okay.
But what if he's like doing everything early?
Obedience-wise,
yeah.
we can push. That's what I'm saying. Like obedience-wise, we can push. So like I'll tell my staff like you can already start long leash stuff. Long leash is when we start advancing the training, and it does happen where I get dogs that are just moving very quickly. But behaviorally, I only start socialization on week 2.
Okay, I see.
Okay, yeah. Because it's behavior. Behavior, there's no guarantees. It's a variable.
Yeah.
You know, whereas with obedience, it's easy. It's put your butt down, get over here, lay on that dog bed. It's just skills, right? But behavior stuff, we want to make sure the dog's had a week at least to settle in, relax if they're stressed out, get over the stress of the training, because it is a lot of, in the beginning, the first week is a lot.
Okay.
And then once the second week, it gets easier because they've already got everything down, and we're just kind of pushing things. When you see the exercises, it makes sense.
Okay, but they do get over the stress.
Yes.
I just want to like scar him back. He's never like been sent away somewhere. So.
No, like it's boot camp because you're paying me to get something done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And if he's stressed, he's stressed. Like, let's say he could be still stressed into week 2, but into week 2 I go, all right, well you've already had a week and we got to start pressing you. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, I can't predict how it's going to play out. But I've not ever had an issue. No, that's a lie. I've had people where I had a feral dog that was imported from like Argentina or something. And the trainer in Argentina was doing prong collar training, and the dog started shrieking and like flipping out. It was really bad. Somehow they got the dog from Argentina to here, and they found me. So we're doing the consult, and the lady's telling me all this stuff, and I go, all right, well, just so you know, I'm going to have to deal with the problem now because your previous trainer, you didn't allow them to, work past the shrieking and all that stuff. And she's like, oh, no, we got to get this problem fixed. Their dog's separation anxiety is terrible. We can't leave the house. The dog's super reactive. We can't walk anywhere. I'm like, all right, they want to do a board and train. I go, sure. So she goes to check in a couple of days in, and I'm like, yeah, the dog's doing terrible because of what I told you. And then she's like, oh, could you send me a clip? I said, oh, sure, here you go. And she's like, oh my God, this is terrible. I don't know if I can handle this. And I was like, I told you this during the consultation, like that because you didn't fix the problem way back when, I was gonna have to fix the problem. And it's the same thing, So I ended up just sending the dog home early, and I was just like, I don't want to deal with you and whatever because of the owner, because I called it all out, and then I was like, I'm gonna see stress. It's gonna be a while before the dog gets over it. But they were just too soft that they couldn't handle it, so I just sent the dog home.
Okay.
So,
if he were to do the board and train, would he be able to start next Monday, the 29th?
This coming Monday, the 29th?
Not like this Monday, but the following one?
Yes. If we need a fresh fecal.
Okay, I just dropped that off at the vet today.
Cool. Then that will qualify.
He just went to we just had his annual a few days ago.
Oh, that's very convenient for you because we require all new dogs. So even if it was like a month ago, I tell you we need a fresh fecal. Okay, but that would qualify. But yes, depending on how quickly you can turn around and give us the information that we need, which would be vaccinations and stuff like that, you have your start date. And I have Snooki currently, who will be here through the 29th, one more week. So then I use Snooki to see if he does anything. Because one thing that I can press is at least seeing if he locks in. Right? What I can't press is the social interaction with dogs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I can bring out Snooki day one when he comes in right away to see, like, are we going to see the problem, so I can address it and go like, cool, I got it on camera for you. I just don't start socialization like with other dogs till week 2 to clarify.
And you have a Shiba, you said too?
Yes, but the Shiba comes in, like, I think he comes like once a week for daycare.
Okay.
But I could email her. She's a nice lady. See if she'll bring him on by.
Okay. How much is the board and train?
Board and train for a 2 week is $27.50. That doesn't include the cost of the collar. We do give 10% off if you get the collar through us. I don't care where you get the collar from, but I do care that you get the correct collar.
Okay.
Okay. That runs $350 before the 10% discount. With the 10% discount, that drops down to like $305-ish, $310-ish. Okay.
Okay.
They last for years. It's a fully waterproof system, both the transmitter and the receiver. I had my first e-collars for like 10 years before they crapped out and ended up replacing them with the new batch of e-collars. Okay. This, trust me, is you have it. You don't have to think about anything. You don't have to worry about anything, because it's the maximum output. All it means is we get more from less. So if you were to find yourself in an emergency situation, theoretically you have enough pressure to override the situation.
Okay.
And this one's easy because the dial just streamlines. There's no switch or anything. It's just the dial. And this newer model has a boost function, which you can pre-program, and you can pre-program it to like 50, and it'll spike 50 levels above where you're currently at, which is it's a nice function. I've only had one person in the past 2 years that this has been out actively need it, but it's a nice thing to have in those kind of one-off situations.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if he, I should have all his like results on Monday, so I could send that in right away. But if he could start next Monday, I would like to do that.
Just check my times.
I think the 29th.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah.
Where is the facility?
I'm in the west, near west of the West Loop, Lake and Sacramento.
Okay, yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah. And if you need a transport, we can arrange transport too. We can pick up the dog. You just got to schedule that ahead of time.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's not a problem. Because you're in the West Loop area? Yeah. Oh yeah, you're just right there. So that's not an issue. Other questions?
No.
So most common question I do get would be, when does the collar go away? And in my book, when you need it, it doesn't. Okay. So that means if he's going to be off leash anywhere, you have your collar on. If you're following the instructions and you're following the advice that I give you and everything, you shouldn't always be needing to press the button. Okay. If you're doing that, you're what I call managing your dog. That means you're probably too low. That's what gets people. Okay. As long as you follow my instructions, at some point you're like, you know what? I have the collar just in case something happens, right? Just in case a Frenchie shows up and maybe the Frenchie starts barking at him and that sets him off, right? Just in case you have the ability to turn it off. Otherwise, if you're following the instructions and reinforcing everything, it's simply present, okay? If he's a great dog inside the house, you don't need it.
Yeah.
If he's a great dog when you go to your friend's house and they have a dog that they play with all the time, then you don't need it. But if it's like, I'm gonna take my dog to a restaurant, I'm gonna take my dog on an airplane to go fly somewhere or something like that, you would need it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But you shouldn't always be having to press the button. That tells me that you're too low, which is the most common issue that I get with my clients.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I do actually have a question. So I think I should be good after 2 weeks, but just in case, I have my brother on standby to watch him like for a third week.
Yep.
Would that be like, if he went from the training to him and not me, would that be a bad idea?
Oh, no. So just expect that if you picked him up from your brother, he might, it's going to be like a short vacation. You're welcome to send the video to your brother and go like, hey, like, I'm getting him trained. Do you mind reinforcing? The only stuff that I recommend really is the heel and the place command, which are pretty easy to kind of pick up. And if your brother's willing to do that for you, then it'll keep him in the zone. Otherwise, if he gets a short vacation, it doesn't matter, because once you start implementing the exercises, it's all going to come straight back.
Okay, and then we'll schedule our 3 at some point.
What I usually recommend after a board and train is you take 2 weeks on your own to begin implementing things. It's not like you watch the video and just take off running, because you have to take what you've watched, internalize it, and then apply it.
Yeah.
You know? So I usually recommend the clients take about 2 weeks to implement what they can. And then this way, when they come back for their first lesson, they come back with questions. Okay. I get clients that show up, you know, on the last day of the board and train, and all the questions they're asking are things that are in the video, which I'm fine to, you know, to go over it. But to me, I'm like, it's just a waste of a class. You know, if it's all the content's all there filmed for you, and you can refer to it, take as much as you can from that. So this way, with the in-persons, we can push even further. Yeah. You know, so.
Okay, awesome. Are you excited?
Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
One thing that has he ever been away from you for a period of time?
Yeah. Okay. Not at like a boarding train though. He's never been at a facility.
At a kennel. No. One thing to anticipate is if it's his first time at a kennel, is he won't eat. Okay, I've had dogs not eat up to like 5 days even. Okay, it's not very common, but it does happen. Okay. You know, and if it's your first time sending him away to a kennel, like that's just something that I tell people, because I don't want them to think like, oh my God. You know, the dog's fine. Usually by the 5th day, like that's what happened with Snooki. He didn't eat for like the first 3 days or so, and now he eats everything that we put down for him because he's been with us for 2 weeks. You know, so. Okay. All right.
Sounds good.
Anything else?
No.
Julia?
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Nice. Right.
Any other questions that you may have forgotten to ask, feel free to ping Tina if they pertain.